All right, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we're going to be freeze drying chicken bone broth, homemade chicken bone broth. We're going to take you through the steps and how we make this. Now this applies for human consumption and for your pet's consumption, okay? If you watch my channel enough, you know that we don't feed our dogs commercial dog food because we've had too many health issues with our dogs with commercial dog food. For us, it's toxic poison, so we don't feed them the commercial dog food, but we do feed them chicken and beef and stuff like that. The chicken we're going to make today is very inexpensive. The ones we buy anyways, they come in packets of leg quarters. And let us show you the process of how we do it and get it ready for freeze drying. So we're filling up here a 14-quart pressure cooker with the leg quarters. Now the leg quarters we use are no added hormones, no added steroids, no artificial ingredients. So it's pretty good. Now we're just filling it up here with water up to just about level with the chicken. And now we'll seal it up. Press poultry, and we're going to go for 40 minutes. And start. Now the pressure cooker is done and we let it cool down naturally. And now we can take the chicken out and we're going to put it into a separate bowl. And you're going to want to strain it, of course. You want to leave the broth and take the chicken out. So here we're separating the bones from the meat, and watch how tender this is. I pushed that meat right off. And the joint, look at that, it just crumbles apart. And the rest of the bone we're going to get rid of so it won't hurt the dogs that way. But the part that's very tender, they just crumble up. And then you just want to run a strainer through there and get every little bits and pieces of meat out of there and any bones that there might be in there. Now when you're done, it's going to look like this. All the fat settles to the top, and we're going to get this and we're going to put this in the refrigerator overnight. Here my wife is portioning out the meat for the dogs, and we do that for them, and that way we can put them in the freezer and then take them out the night before when we need them. So after the bone broth is cooled, all the fat on the top turns hard, so we can easily scoop it out. My wife is using a little spatula here, a little plastic spatula, and we can scoop all the fat off the top. And then when all the fat's removed, it should look like this. And then when you're done scooping off the fat, it should look like a big bowl of Jell-O. Now my wife is stirring up the chicken broth. Now it's cold, but it was gelatin, and now we're stirring it up and putting it into a measuring cup, and we're going to measure out 3 cups here. Now if you wanted to, you could heat this chicken broth up and turn it into a liquid, but it's really not necessary. Now you have to remember that the reason why it's all like gelatin is because it's very high in collagen. So this is very good for you, your joints, your tendons, ligaments, your skin, and all that. And then just spread it out on the tray. So when all the trays are done, they're gonna go in the deep freezer and they should be ready tomorrow. Okay, so here we're doing the exact same thing with the large Harvest Right trays, but we're using 4 out of the 5 trays with the exact same amount of chicken bone broth. All right, so the first thing we gotta do, the machine is on now. There's a little switch in the back. We turn that on. Now we're gonna push start. Now we're gonna push frozen because our food is frozen. We're gonna check for our drain valve. And now when the chamber reaches 30 degrees, we can load our food. Okay, the chamber's reached 30 degrees. We're ready to load our food. Our chicken broth, I should say. And we just hit yes and start. So we loaded our large Harvest Right with the exact same amount of bone broth on 4 trays instead of 5. All right, the freeze drying process has started. We got both machines going, and we're gonna see which one takes the shortest amount of time. All right, guys, so the freeze drying process is done. This took 30 hours and 40 minutes. The Harvest Right still has another 2 hours to go. So that's the exact same amount of food in each machine, and I believe it's because of that sensor in this machine here. It sensed that the food is done, and it stopped the freeze drying process. The other one is still going. It still has another 2 hours. So let's take the food out of here, or the bone broth, and we're going to put them in these jars here and dry seal it. So let's get it out. Now it's going to ask us to check the food, so we push check food. Now we're going to open the drain valve. That doesn't weigh anything. That is incredible. All right, so let me put this on the table and I'll show you what it looks like. So now it's going to ask you, do you need more dry time? But no. And the process is complete. Now, if you want to defrost it, just hit the start button, scroll down, and just hit defrost. And make sure your drain valve is open. So to give you an idea what this is like, first of all, this is, I don't even think it weighs anything. But it's very crispy. Very, very dry. So we're going to put these in the jar and we are going to seal, we're going to vacuum seal them. Okay, so this broth was gelatin, but now it's like a giant cracker, basically. And its stuff is pretty hard. So what we're going to do is kind of crumple it up in here in the jars. Now we've done this before, but we've done it in our house where we had a sturdy countertop. This table's not very sturdy, and I'll explain why in a second, why we need a sturdy countertop. because we have this pusher here. This is for our Vitamix, but we're using it here. Hang on a second, huh? To smash up it up like this. And what was it? We had 4 trays. We got what, 2 jars with it?
I think it was the other machine. We had 5 trays.
But we had 2 jars?
2 jars, but it's not full.
Yeah, they weren't even full. If you wanted to, you can put this in a food processor too, and it'll grind it up real nice. So this is our second jar. Okay, that looks pretty good. I made a mess, but still looks good. Now there's going to be powder all over this thing, so make sure you wipe this. That's good, just like that. No, that's just good. And then put the lids on them. There we go. All right, I'm going to set this up for the food saver here. Now we could do this also in the cube freeze dryer, but it's full of ice right now and defrosting, so we're going to use our food saver here. Any food saver that you have will work. You got to turn the machine on. I'm going to put this and the food saver in a link under the description. And again, make sure there's no dust or anything on the lid or on the lip of the jar. Push that down and hit accessory. There we go. Yeah, that is definitely vacuum sealed. Okay. Alright, they are sealed. Alright, so you can see here on the display here, this took 32 hours and 47 minutes. Basically 2 hours between the 2 machines. So this took 2 hours longer. And again, that's because the cube has a sensor in there to check for moisture. That's what I believe anyways. Plus the chamber is more efficient for freeze drying. So we're going to do the same process here. We're going to take this out, smash it up, put it in the jars, but we're going to take a little bit out, reconstitute it, and see how it is. Alright, so I have here the chicken bone broth. I have me a measuring cup here, small bowl, and some really hot water. So I'm going to take 2 tablespoons out, 2 level tablespoons. I'll put it in the bowl here. Okay. Now we're gonna get some, I'm gonna try a half a cup first. That's about a half a cup. All right, so let me pour this in. Well, I can smell that already. Wow, that was, I thought it was going to take longer time to reconstitute, but right away, immediately. And there's small pieces, of course, of the chicken in here. I mean, very small, of course. Beautiful. Boy, it smells really good. Yeah, there's no difference between fresh or freeze-dried. Zero. It is fantastic. Tastes really good. Yeah, oh, this is good. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Would really appreciate it if you subscribe and like and share this video. That really helps out here with the algorithms with YouTube, because the algorithms have not been very nice to me. All right, guys, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.